Hi, friends. I'm Noel Hacegaba, CEO of the Port of Long Beach, and I'm here in Long Beach at TPM26 with my good friend Peter Friedmann of ACTTC. How are you, Peter?
Great to see you.
Great to see you, my friend. Peter, obviously things have been a little dynamic across the global supply chain. What is at the 30,000 foot level? How would you describe the state of ag today?
Ag in the United States
Yes.
is in great transition because of the truism. There's nothing we produce in agriculture or forest products in the United States that cannot be sourced somewhere else in the world.
True.
And if we cannot deliver affordably, dependably, then our foreign customers will go to some place in the world and replace us as their source. If we impose barriers to their trade with us, they can easily retaliate against us. So we've seen that this year. This last year has been dramatic transition. So that's the answer to the question. This is the state of agriculture transition.
Sure.
I like to say, and I always have, that you can replace everything that we produce in the US except California almonds. Nobody else in the world makes almonds in the volume and the quantity. But even that, to demonstrate how things have changed this year, even there, our California almond producers, members, all members of the Agriculture Transportation Coalition are saying Australia now produces in volume and quality and has a trade agreement with India, which is the biggest consumer now of many of our agriculture exports, particularly nuts.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that we have to find new markets. We are finding new competition. We are facing competition all over the world. And more than ever, agriculture in the US has to be very nimble to keep and gain new members.
You know, Peter, appreciate your insights, and your experience mirrors ours. When you look at imports and exports, the shift from China to Southeast Asia, for example. And then when you look at specific export commodities, you mentioned almonds. When you look at soybeans, exports to China dropped 97% year over year. We were among the first to report that. But I like how you described it. It's in transition and it's fluid. So I'm going to ask you to pull out your crystal ball, because I know you have one, at least one. Looking into your crystal ball, what's your outlook for the next 2-3 years?
The outlook is that the world's growth, economic growth, it's spreading. We talked about China down to Vietnam, the shoes we wear and so forth were all made in around the world, then to China, now Vietnam, and they continue to move. Indonesia is coming up very fast with footwear production. But as those countries produce more consumer goods for the US, they become wealthier, standard of living goes up, and they're able to buy more things. And what do people want? More food, better food, and so on. So and building products. So we export. A lot of our AGTC members are producing lumber, plywood. We're exporting a lot of lumber, a lot of plywood. Again, competition from Scandinavia and Russia and so forth, but doing pretty well in agriculture. They want more paper. As the standard of living goes up, people have disposable cups, right, for coffee like we have. So those markets are changing not only as sources for U.S. products of consumer goods, but as consumers of what we can sell them. And
that's right.
And so our challenge still remains. We've got to be able to deliver affordably and dependably. So that remains a challenge. But the fact is that the markets for our products are growing. They're just moving to different parts of the world.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. For this next question, Peter, you're the best person to answer this. If you could magically help the American public understand one thing about your industry, what would that be?
I would say agriculture and forest products exporters are probably the nicest people in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
just on a personal basis, and and everybody's invited to come to our annual meeting, which is coming up in May,
Yes.
middle of May. And I got to say, Long Beach, you
Yes.
all know it because you've been there before.
Yes.
But it's the tradition. The annual dinner is sponsored
Yeah.
by the Southern California Port Complex, by LA and Long Beach for I don't know how many years. I'm not that old, but maybe it's 20 years or something like that. You guys have sponsored the annual dinner, and I'm looking forward to you coming up
I'm looking
again,
forward to it too. Yeah.
because the largest agriculture export port area is the Southern California
That's
Port
right.
Complex. I mean, there are many others that are very valuable. Oakland, everybody, Oakland, Seattle, Tacoma, and all the way around Houston and so forth. But still, the Southern California ports are the major output because it's going to Asia Pacific, which remains our biggest market. Now it's shifting down to South Asia and so forth, but still, this is the route that ag must travel.
And I appreciate that plug. And it's a reality. It's a fact, right? I mean, I know at the Port of Long Beach, we've actually led the nation in exports the last 6 of the last 10 years or something like that. But notwithstanding, I mean, exports generate a lot of American jobs. They support the American economy. And I think it's important for the American public to recognize that. And the annual conference is a great way to bring the entire ag community together, not just to celebrate that, but to talk about some of these issues that you highlighted. So, Peter, thanks for being our guest. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. You are definitely a luminary and a leader in our industry. The Port of Long Beach looks forward to joining you for your upcoming annual meeting. And I personally look forward to being there with you and meeting with all your members.
Well, I got to warn you, you have the weather here that is so perfect. But I'm from Seattle originally, and I don't mind rain and overcast, a little drizzle, a little cooler. So if you want a relief from perfect weather, come to our meeting as you go.
Hey, I'll go anywhere for you.
Oh, thank you.
No matter the weather.
Good.
But
Okay.
Peter, thanks again for joining us, friends. Thanks for joining us, and I know you will benefit from Peter's insights.